Are you a football fan? Have you ever found yourself wondering, what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help you. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Whistle Talk, coming to you from a Memorial Day Monday. Joining me once again, I got Coach Chip from South Kakalaka, also known as Georgia, wearing his Bama shirt. He's just confused, ladies and gentlemen, but that's why we love him. He's a Southern guy, Southern man. Coach Chip, what's happening, buddy?
It's all good, Mike D, the referee. Just tickled to be with you.
Yeah, love having you on. Love hearing, well, hell, I just love the accent, let alone the stories that go with it. So I ain't going to lie, selfishly.
I don't speak with an accent. You speak with an accent.
Yes, I know. Us Yankees here in the North. Coach Chip, happy Memorial Day. Before we begin, I want to just take a quick moment to remember the real reason why we have Memorial Day. It's not just for barbecues, but it's for celebrating those that gave us the freedoms that we have and the ability to do what we are doing right now. So to the families of the survivors and everybody out there, thank you for all the service that you have done. For the veterans, I know it's not Veterans Day, but give a thank you to the veterans that are out there too. So, but hoping everybody remembers what Memorial Day is truly about. It's enjoyable with the barbecues and the day off, but let's remember the good things. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm golden. Memorial Day is always precious to me. My daddy passed away from Agent Orange poisoning from his time in Vietnam, and so Memorial Day and Veterans Day are always hit pretty hard at my house.
Understandable. And thank you for your dad's service. So we do appreciate everything. And I personally appreciate everything. And I got to give a plug to the vets to refs, the battlefield to ball field guys that are out there that have helped me in my journey here in the officiating world, not in the military or first responder world. But I just thank everybody that's involved in those things. I truly do. So with that, Coach, before we dive into Rule 3 today, give yourself your plugs of where people can find you on the coaching front.
You can email me at seagle.chip, that's SEAGLE .chip @gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter. I am Coach Chip @Chip Siegel. And then on Facebook, I've got a Facebook group that is blowing and going, Football Talk with Coach Chip. And then, of course, what started it all about a little over 6 years ago, Football Talk with Coach Chip on YouTube. Hey, guys, I know a lot of officials listen to this. Go ahead and go over there and subscribe.
Doesn't hurt anything, doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't cost anything, and I don't care if you watch it or not, but I don't understand the algorithm.
Yeah.
But I don't understand computers either, but yet here I am talking on one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Go ahead, go on over there and click on subscribe and watch a video or two if you're so inclined. And maybe you'll find something. And I've been told this by a lot of people. I do a really good job of simplifying it. It's not a lot of the coach talk. And then when I do use the coach talk, because when I started doing it, I aimed it at two groups: small schools, where kids are going both ways,
yep,
and sub-varsity coaches. Because not all of us are like me and like you were for 20 years, that was their life. And we could speak an entirely different language and our wives would think we were speaking Russian or something or Klingon. Yeah. And I understand that because I know a good chunk of coaches out there that need help are insurance salesmen, are lawyers, are accountants, are factory workers, and they're coaching their kids' team. And they need help, and they don't need all this technical mumbo jumbo that we speak in. It's not mumbo jumbo to you and I,
nope,
but to them it is. It'd be like if I went to their job and they started speaking in their jargon, So that's what it is. So go there and watch a few of them, and maybe if you know somebody that's picking up the sport this year and trying to help out somewhere, God bless them and send them toward old Coach Chip. And by the way, I ain't making any money off of it. I'm just trying to help. So
Yeah.
this is not me selling anything. I'm just trying to help promote the game, and that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here with you. I like hanging out with you, but it's fun talking ball and all that good stuff too.
And we're promoting the game, like you said. And I got to do a little plug myself here. So for the other referees that are out there, if you know people that would be interested in taking a listen to, we're diving into the rule book series. So we're going to be talking about Rule 3 today. But we've already done Rules 1 and 2 editions of Rule 2, being it's so long, which makes the rest of our rules so much easier. But share it out there. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a thumbs up, whatever it may be. So like Coach Chip was saying, the algorithms, whatever the heck they truly are, they're out there. They're listening to us. And then they're pushing out the information. So with
I'll tell
that,
you what, real quick before we get started.
go ahead.
Anybody watching, the first one who emails me, make sure you put it in the show notes, Mike. Siegel.chip@gmail.com, SEAGLE.chip@gmail.com, and tells me what kind of shirt I'm wearing. I will send you 2 free books.
There you go. Nice. All right. Definitely jump on that. And I will put that in the show notes, and I will have that typed up. Oh.
Just grow the game, brother. Grow the game.
Yeah, give me that email once again. I'm going to throw it up on the screen right now.
SEAGLE, SEAGLE .chip@gmail.com. Oh,
All right.
there it is, and it is correct, sir. Hey, first one that sends me an email saying, "Hey, Coach, you're wearing a shirt. I will send you 2 free books." No
Go
strings
Tigers.
attached. Listen, dude, I'm just a retired football coach down here in God's country,
Yes,
trying
sir.
trying to make the world a better place through football.
All right, so definitely jump on that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss that. He's got some good stuff. Coach Chip was nice enough to share a lot of the stuff, a lot of his materials with me in the recent years as I was coaching my son's team. So definitely helpful. But again, I always say this to the referees: learn what the coaches are doing. It will make us better referees. And coaches, learn what we're doing. It'll make you better coaches. And again, it'll make it better for the game, football.
Absolutely. Try to, yeah.
All right, so Coach, tonight we're going to dive into Rule 3, which is going to deal with the periods, the time factors, and the substitutions. So a guest that I've had on a couple times, Jim Kapora. Jim is an official up here in the Northeast area. He's the head of officials for a couple different conferences in Division III football. And he's a well-versed individual. Was a long-time college on-the-field official. But he said at one of the clinics that he went to, he had the pleasure of listening to Bill Parcells, who's one of my coaching idols growing up. Being a Giant fan, I loved his style. But it was one thing that stuck with him, and then I went to a clinic that Jim was speaking at, and it stuck with me, is that 2 of the most important things in football are time and score. And that goes for coaches, and that goes for officials on how we're going to call the game. So understanding the time factors, understanding the score of the game, those things are going to always play a part in what's going on. Should we throw that flag? It is something pertaining to the overall game, something that we need to really tackle, something that we need to administer right then and there? Or is it something that, hey, we can give that kid a talking to and move on, that it's not truly affecting the game? So understanding the situations that's going on and keeping our minds in the game, I think, is going to be something that is truly beneficial, and understanding how we can call a better game. So with that, we will dive into the first one. 3-1 is our length of periods and our halftime. So the high school game, we are playing 48-minute periods. We got 4 12-minute quarters with a 1-minute intermission between the first and second quarter and the third and fourth quarter period, however you want to mention that. Coach, with all the years you've been around, has it truly been a 1-minute intermission between quarters?
I got no idea.
Exactly.
I'm just over there talking to the guys, talking to the kids, and then the referee blows that warning whistle, and then we start trying to sum up what we were just saying. I guess it was a minute. I don't know. And there was a time where I did basketball too, and it's supposed to be a minute as well, but now they do the 30-second thing. But I don't know. Is it more or less?
It depends on how hot it is that day.
Okay, that's what. So it depends on the officials, and it depends on whether or not his wife is pissed off at him. I got you.
Yeah. I mean, we try to keep it around that minute, but I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know many crews that will keep a clock on the in between quarter time frame. We're going to try to expedite, let the coaches do what they got to do. We're going to come together and talk about it a little bit. Now, we're also messing with the chains and spotting the football and different things like that, but this is a time that we're in the flow of the game. We might not have an opportunity to talk with our short wings being in the middle of the field, even with the O to O. So this is a quick chance for us, like you're doing, coaching up the kids. We're coaching up each other. We're talking to each other, and just like, hey, okay, let's bear down on this, whatever it may be. But we try to keep it in that minute range so that we keep the flow of the game going.
It just dawned on me. Okay, so if the ball's at the 48 at the end of a quarter, that's going to be a short break.
Yeah.
But if the ball's at the 8, that's going to be a long break because you got to flip the field even further,
Yes.
move the chains even further. Now
There's
it dawned on
technique
me,
to
yeah,
that.
if the ball's at midfield, all you got to do is walk off 4 yards and boom, you're ready to go. You
But
know?
we got to make sure we're on the right lateral hash too. So that's important.
Okay, let me ask you this. All right, if it's on the right hash going from left to right, so it's on the near hash, when we flip it, is it still on the right hash or is it still on the near hash, which is now the left hash?
It should still be on the right hash.
Okay.
So the
I
offense
used
is
to
right
have to
hash.
ask that. I said, hey, Rick, because I don't know how much you paid attention to some of my YouTubes, and my play sheet is predicated on hashes.
Yep. No,
I'm a big
I
hash guy. You
yeah,
know,
wide side of the field, short side of the field, see what you can get them
correct.
in. Absolutely.
And we had to ask, you know, because sometimes you get the guy, they just walk it down and it's still on the near hash, which is
Yeah.
now the left hash if you're going left to right. You
No,
know, that's
we're going opposite side. So it's always going to be on the offenses on the same side offensively. It should be.
okay, cool.
All
That's a
right.
good thing to know.
So now our halftime. This one is always a pain in the tuchus. Our half times are between 10 and 20 minutes. 15 minutes is typically standard. But in practice, the home school should decide the length. This is something that we want to find out before the game so that we can relay to the opposing coaches if they're having an extended halftime, if there's some type of senior night, whatever it may be, they're honoring whomever it may be. I've been involved in some 45-minute halftimes, and it's just
Oh, good Lord.
yeah, it's awful on all parties involved. So we try to really let them know, hey, why don't you do that before the game starts and then just let the kids play football, because 45 minutes between halves, well, everybody's cramping up, everybody's tightening up, like we're getting ready for injury. So we try to keep it to the 15 to 20 minutes, and we did a better job this year of really letting the schools know, and our signer did a great job for us around here saying, hey, we got to cap it at 20 minutes. So if you're doing something that's longer than 20 minutes, do it before the game. You got the whole time before the game, all that fun stuff. So
In Alabama, Mike.
I believe it.
That ain't happening in Alabama. I can promise. I've seen flags thrown on the band.
Yeah. Yep.
Really, they were thrown on the team, but it was because of the band.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't
Because there's a
seen
home
it.
schools band.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in many years because they're doing what you just said, doing a lot of that crap before the game,
Yep.
and then just doing the basics, and then cutting down the halftime show. But I can remember, man, sitting there at the top of the hill waiting. I'm going like, okay, okay, okay. And it's not that I don't like the band. Hell, I love the band.
I love the band too.
They add so much to the game. I love teaching band kids. They were my favorite kids to have in class because they got my stupid jokes, because they're the coolest kids. They really are. The coolest kids in school aren't the athletes, they're the band kids. But know your place. Stay in your lane, band director, and get your butt off the field. Not that nobody's there to see you, because there's a ton of people that come to see the band, but you ain't getting penalized.
Nope.
But I cannot remember a time in my life where it affected the outcome of a game. But I have seen some pissed off head coaches at some band directors, because in
Oh, yeah.
Alabama, they'll throw a flag on your natural born band ass.
And I've seen it have an outcome on the game because you've pissed off the visiting team and made them wait another 15, 20 minutes, that sometimes they might not take the foot off the throttle if they have an opportunity to. So it is something, like you said, know your role, know your lane, all that fun stuff. And listen, like you, I love a good high school band. in the middle of the game listening to it. Other than that, let's play football.
Yeah.
And with that being said, now we do have a mandatory 3-minute warm up time. So once the band goes off, now we got to wait for both teams to get out there. Then we're rolling the 3-minute clock at that point in time. So we're just still adding time. And that's one we can't negotiate with. That's one we're not rushing, because that's the one that, if God forbid somebody takes us to a court of law and they say, did you give the 3-minute mandatory time frame? And we say, no, Your Honor, we rushed it because the band was on for so long. We're not in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. So hopefully it never gets to that point, but you got to go with that 3 minutes. All right, and here we got a little chart from our rule book, table 3-1. Again, it all talks about the same thing. So the halftime intermission is going to start when the teams leave the field. The warm-up is following halftime. We tend to do it once that second team comes out onto the field. We're winding our arms. We're getting that clock rolling. And then each timeout should be about a minute also. That is one that we will time, but sometimes we'll give a little bit more grace with that. Again, knowing the situation of the game. But
Wait a minute. So you don't start the 3 minutes until the second team comes out?
yeah, but we're escorting them out onto the field. So
they're usually going to be on time.
Yes.
Okay. Because now down here in Alabama and Georgia, the two states where I've coached, they're going to tell you, they say, hey, coach, you got 4 plus 3, 4 plus 3. And at the end of that 4, they're starting at 3.
3.
And one official told me, they said, hey, the responsibility is on the coach. If they don't get out there and get their 3 minutes in, that ain't on them. We told them. So
Yep. Yeah, we send officials to the locker rooms to escort them out, knock on the door, say, Coach, let's roll. So we try to really push them along. All right, Coach, I'll let you take this next slide here with the length of period / halftime.
All right, by agreement of both coaches, both underlined, and referee, periods may be shortened in any emergency, like a major ass whipping could be an emergency. Game can be terminated. And now down here, we're liable to get that during September, October, because it's hurricane season.
Yeah.
And interrupted games by events beyond control of game authority. They had that happen down south of us this past year. They had a shooting out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's not cool. But the game shall be resumed from the point of interruption unless teams agree to terminate with existing score. Examples are weather, lights going out, etc., shooting in the parking lot. There's all kinds of things that can happen. Yeah. Weather conditions construed to be hazardous to life or limb. Again, I live in the Gulf South. That happens a lot. Game officials authorized to delay or suspend the game. Now, but they're not authorized to end the game, correct?
Correct. So if we have to end the game due to, again, the constraints that are going that, all right, we got lightning, and every lightning bolt we see is supposed to be another 30 minutes back on the timer. Correct. Until we get the game resumed. And now if you're pushing 11:30 at night and the town has a curfew or whatever it may be, and we have to now suspend the game, we're going to pick it up from whatever the score in time on the clock is at that point that it is suspended. But I was involved in a game as a coach where we were losing. It was like 49-0 or something. We were getting bludgeoned. And they wanted to continue to have this. And our head coach is like, listen, guys, they're getting the ball coming out of the half too. We're not like, this is going to get nowhere even close. If you got to do it, we're okay with the game being ixnayed at that point in time. And we gave it some time, and then the other coach was like, oh, no, we want to play. So we waited a little bit, and then he got to a point, he's like, all right, we're good. And called the game right then and there, and we lost 49-0.
We've had it, we had bad storm about 15 years ago, and we played a game that didn't end till almost midnight.
Yeah.
And that was once I can remember. And then we had a couple that were delayed because the lights went out, which probably had to do with weather. But I got buddies down in Central Florida and South Florida. It's not uncommon to end games after midnight down there because of those. Again, it's hurricane season.
Yeah.
And it's every night. I mean, you may be out there and the weather's beautiful, but out in the distance, there's lightning.
Yep.
And if it's within, I think, 10 miles? I think it's 10 miles. that 30-minute clock starts.
I couldn't even tell you the exact distance
I
anymore
think it's
because
10 miles. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, if it's within that range, every time it pops,
yep.
it's that 30-minute period, and that can be rough. I've told my Florida friends, I said, why don't y'all play on Saturday morning?
No, that's not Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. But
No, we have a lot of schools around here are putting in the lightning detectors, so you'll hear that siren going off
dude,
when there's
that's the
lightning in the
law
area.
down here.
It's okay, good.
Golf courses, schools, yeah,
Yes.
it's the law. Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. So with this, I'll pick this short one up here. 3-1-6, the exception. If a game is interrupted during the last 3 minutes of the second period for at least 30 minutes, the coaches can mutually agree to shorten halftime. Must be at least 1 minute intermission, but they must have the mandatory 3-minute warm-up time that we just talked about. So,
And they're done that, but it was over 3 minutes, but we all agreed to it. It was like halfway through the second quarter, and we said, we don't need to do this again. So, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So, Coach, you want to take start in the game, the coin toss?
All right, coin toss. Referee and umpire will escort captains to midfield 3 to 5 minutes before kickoff. Hey, all you officials out there listening, we love it when you have a rigid schedule. Not a joke. We love it when you've got standards. We know when you're coming. We know when to have those guys ready. That's just no more than 4 captains in uniform and everyone else outside field of play. What are the exceptions, Mike?
Not many, but we're gonna do like personal exceptions. Like if one of the players was coming back from a catastrophic injury, we may have him come out to a lot of times the hash marks or something like that. But we're trying to keep it just the 4 players on the field, and then everybody else, like senior night, people like walking everybody out. All right, we're going to keep everybody else back, but give me your 4 captains out and keep the seniors coming out maybe to the hashes or the top of the numbers so that they can be recognized by the crowd. But yeah, we're trying to just keep that 4.
So you will let the seniors come out to the hashes?
I'm trying to think if it's the hashes or the top of the numbers, but in that range, yeah.
Okay. All right. So 1 designated speaking captain per team. Coaches, listen to Coach Chip. Been doing it for over 40 years. And I know who your captains are going to be. 1 out of the 4 needs to be articulate in the English language. I'll leave it at that. Winner of coin toss has first choice of options in either half. Based on rule book, choice of options for either half. Choose whether to kick or receive. Choose which goal to defend.
Yep, and we're going to dive into this one.
This is the good one.
Yes. So, your choice options 3-3 is put simply, choose whether to kick or receive, choose which goal to defend, and if you're deferring choice to the second half, that's all we want to give them. That's all we want to say. And I don't even want to tell them that they're going to kick. They're going to receive or they're going to defer. That's really it. Because again, like you're talking about, there are some exceptions where the other team will exercise the remaining options for that half. Losing team does not have the option to defer their choice. So if I defer my choice and it goes to you, Coach Chip, you can't defer it back to me. It's not like Uno that we have the draw or the reverse cards. Yeah. So we got to make sure that we're given one of those choices. But if I'm deferring to you, you're going to want the ball. You're not going to want to kick because that means that I'm going to receive the ball twice. So we put some pressure on ourselves as officials to make sure that those 16-year-old kids don't make that boneheaded mistake unless the coach tells us, hey, this weather is terrible. We want to kick both halves if we can. Then we'll listen to it. But other than that, when they say, okay, we want to kick, we're like, okay, you want to defer. We're gonna kind of coax them to what their right decision is going to be.
There's some states down here that have done it, and I've been in games where they did it, where they don't even the toss at midfield is just ceremonial. The coaches have already done it in the hallway.
Yep.
Have you heard of that?
I have. We still try to do it on the field. But I have heard typically, again, the weather instances. So let's do it inside when we know we're going to come out and we can announce to the PA announcer of what's already happened inside. So sometimes if we're going to do that, we might not even have that ceremonial look to it whatsoever. We want to get the game going right away. But yeah, I have heard of stuff like that with it. But the pageantry it's still there, so the kids want it. And listen, you and I both know, as being around this sport for a very long time, the captains now are, well, they're there by name, but pretty much that's about it. They're the ones that are going out for the coin toss, but when it comes to penalty enforcement, they're always looking over to the sideline. We're communicating to the sidelines, and we're waiting for that as opposed to just the captain on the field. But what we will tell the captains is, hey, we're going to lean on you if this game starts to get a little bit out of hand. I'm going to tag number 13. You're a captain. 13, get control of your team here. You're a captain of this team. Get control of them before we have to start throwing hankies on the ground. So we'll use that to our advantage. But the captains ceremoniously aren't really as big of a part of the game as they used to be.
Yep.
So now here is the realistic options as we were just talking about. Make sure they choose from these. 1, they want the ball, so they're going to receive. 2, they're going to defer to the second half. And when that, only if explicitly wanted, defend a goal. And again, that goes back to when the coach tells us way beforehand, we want to defend this goal twice, so we want to kick off, whatever it may be. Avoid ever letting a team choose, we want to kick. Again, because that means they're kicking both halves. So unless we're getting that specifically from the coach pregame, and we're going to do just like I'm doing right now, coach, that means you're kicking off twice. That means they are going to receive both halves no matter what happens in the score. You're okay with that? That's what you want? Yes. Okay. Now, being in the game for so long, I don't really see why anybody would really want to do that. I know the wind and the weather factors sometimes come into play with it, but still, I would take my chances. And I know you, being the onside kick guru that you are, you don't want to always have to kick, but you'll kick in whatever wind and whatnot.
But there was a team, the guy that really popularized the jet sweep back in the 80s. He was still coaching on up through the 90s and early aughts. He was known for his defense.
So he just always wanted to kick?
And he would do that at the weather. And again, and it was in the Florida Panhandle. So you're talking bad weather. They they were like a 2A school in the Panhandle in Florida. And they played a 6A school in South Alabama. And they lost, but they hung in there with them. They kicked off both halves. They would punt on first down. If field position, we're talking like this is like 1930s, 1940s football, dude.
Yeah.
And they would kick, and I would, and if you told me I was a liar, it wouldn't bother me. But I've seen the film.
Oh, I believe it. I've heard of this guy.
At school about 15 years after it happened. I went back and found that film because I'd heard about that game. That dude was punting on first and second down, keeping that bigger school pinned deep. It was bad weather. The field was slop, and they hung in there. They got beat by a touchdown, but he was a football coach, and that's the exception. And you're not going to have that a lot nowadays.
No.
But this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, and like I said, he kicked off both halves.
I mean, heck, with the way that social media and the parents have gone these days, if they didn't understand it, they'd be whew, that would be all over the place.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So starting in period/half, this is 3-2. This is just a continuation. The game's going to begin with a coin toss, and then each half begins with a kickoff. And the second and fourth periods, teams will change goals, switch sides, like we already talked about, to start the quarter. And the team in possession, down in distance, relative ball position, all remain the same as before. So if the offensive is 1st and 10 from the plus 45 on the right hash, we're going to flip it, and it's going to be 1st and 10 at the plus 45 on the right hash, just on the opposite side of the field. So all that stuff stays the same. All right. Coach, I'll let you take this one.
All right, ending a period/half. Rule 3-3. 4-minute warning. You got to explain this one to me.
Gotcha.
Approximately 4 minutes before the end of the half. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Referee stops clock and notifies each team that there is 4 minutes remaining. If there's a visible field clock, ignore the 4-minute warning. So if it's like both teams are in the end zones and can see the clock. Clock resumes its status after notification if running starts again. If time expires during a down, play continues until down ends. ending first and third, switch goals, possession down and distance, ball position remain the same. Okay, so you're talking about at the end of the halftime,
No,
at
this
the end
is
of the
and
first half.
this is going to be the end of the second quarter. Yep, at second quarter and fourth quarter. Coach, you're not going to see this on varsity games pretty much ever. This is going to be your sub varsity games and your lower levels where we're keeping the game clock on our wrist. Um, if there's an end zone, if there's a scoreboard that's keeping the clock on that, and that's an official time, there's no 4 minute warning. But the 4 minute warning is just we're keeping it on our wrist. We get to 4 minutes, coach. We got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. All right, we're running. Like it's not a timeout. It's not like the 2 minute warning type of break or anything like that. It's as the official just saying, hey, we got 4 minutes left because I know you can't see the scoreboard or see the time, so we're just giving you a heads up that you're getting down to
Okay.
that 4 minute time frame.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Okay, so if you're keeping it on your wrist like you're
Yep,
playing at a park,
correct.
or the clock is broken. Okay,
Yep,
we've had that happen
yeah,
because lightning strikes, takes out the clock. Okay, I
yep.
understand. I was like, what the crap? I don't. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah, now there are talks. There are people that are trying to push for a 2 minute warning, like you're seeing in the NCAA and the NFL. With what does the NCAA call it? They don't call it the 2 minute warning, but something in that regards. But yeah, this is the only time. And again, this is a millisec. Hey, we're stopping the clock, coach. 4 minutes, 4 minutes, and all right, we're running. But if it was an incomplete pass, we're going to start the clock on our normal process of stopping the clock. But typically, when the clock is running at this point, 4 minutes, coach, and we're winding. So just gives you the heads up of it.
Okay, I got it.
All right, an untimed down. A period shall be extended by an untimed down if one of the following occurred during a down in which the time expires. Now, going back to the last slide, this is one that it's a lot of fun with the youth level when they have a scoreboard going and all of a sudden the siren goes off as a kid's running down and they're running the play, and then you see like 10 of the kids stop in the middle of it because they heard the siren. That doesn't stop the play. So with the untimed down now, period shall be extended if there is a foul by either team and the penalty is accepted. So we have to have an accepted penalty. There is a double foul. There is a inadvertent whistle. I don't like saying that word. There's an inadvertent whistle. Voldemort. Or there is a touchdown scored and the try will follow. Now, this one I know is going to change by a lot of different states. Unless the end of the fourth quarter and the points from the try won't affect the outcome. Now, I know some states with the overtime rules, and there's other states with the playoff rules, so the point differential will come into play. Here in New Jersey, we don't really have a point differential, so if you score the game-winning touchdown and you win, you're not coming out to kick that extra point. There's no reason to do it. It's just potential for somebody getting injured. But if it's something that is affecting a playoff seed, which I know a lot of states have, you may have to come out and do that untimed down for that extra point. But you'll get an extra play basically at the end of the quarters, especially when wind and stuff like that comes into play. Either team has a foul and it's accepted, double foul, inadvertent whistle with a touchdown is scored, the try will follow. Now, if the touchdown happens at the end of the first quarter, the try will follow and you'll be going into that same end zone that you just scored for the extra point. We're not flipping sides and then you get the kick on the other side because the wind's better down there. We're going to play that out where it happened, and then we're going to switch sides.
Isn't it the NFL? They're going to kick it no matter what, right?
Think so. I think they do.
That's right. But having point spread affecting your playoffs, I don't like that. But that's nothing to do with the rule book. But
Yeah, that's different state associations that will implement that by. And I agree with you. I'm not a fan of that because it's just you're looking for teams to get run up.
yep,
All right, coach. What is not an untimed down?
period will not be extended by untimed down if defense fouls during successful try/field goal, and offense chooses to enforce on kickoff. Good. Just go ahead and flip it.
Yep.
Foul by either team for unsportsmanlike or non-player fouls, which is a dead ball foul. Loss of down penalty. Fouls enforced on subsequent kickoff. Fouls for which enforcement by rule result in safety. These are examples of why it will not be extended. Put
Hmm.
simply, any fouls where enforcement is succeeding spot, loss of down, and fouls which penalty is a safety.
Yep. So that one kind of
Okay,
makes a.
loss of, okay, so untimed down. If I'm on offense and I'm back in my own one or my backed up to my own, and I'm just trying to get out of there, and I get a holding penalty, not in the end zone,
Okay.
can they make me do it again?
Yes.
Where all I got to do is run a quarterback sneak and the game's over because it's untimed. I said there's no time on the clock, but they can make me do an untimed down.
Correct.
All right, question.
Go for it.
Let's say we're up by 3 or more. We're backed up to our own one. It's fourth down.
Hmm.
And we do the dreaded slow safety, as we like to call it.
Yep.
I have my punter, which is not going to be my punter. He's going to be my best athlete, running around back there, killing time on the back line. And before they can hit him, he steps out the back of the end zone. Meanwhile, I've told the other 10 kids, I said, you tackle whoever's in front of you and let them throw every flag in the world. They don't get but one flag.
Yep.
So now they accept the penalty, which means a safety, but time has expired.
Bingo.
Do we have to do the free kick?
Nope.
Okay. And if they
Because
decline it with no time on the clock, I'm going to tell my center to snap it out of the back of the end zone.
well, if they decline it, game's over anyway when he stepped out of
Yeah.
the back of the end zone for the original safety.
Okay. So my point is, my thinking is right. And I'm not trying to pull a Daniel here. I've been doing this my entire career. We actually practice this on Thursdays.
Yep.
We call it slow safety, fast safety. Fast safety, I tell the kicker, tell the snapper, snap it through the uprights.
Yep.
Snap a field goal. Slow safety, put my best athlete back there or the best one with ball security. Tell them not run away from the back line, just run back and forth. And when they surround you, just step out the back of the end zone and tell everybody else, tackle everybody on the field.
Yep.
And then hold them down. You don't get but one. You can't get 10 holding penalties on a play.
That is correct.
And I've had people tell me you're making a mockery of the game. I said, no, I'm not. I said, the rules are making a mockery of the game. Fix the rule book because that's the rules.
It is 100%.
And we won a game my senior year doing that. 1980.
There you go. All right. The end of the period, the referee will ensure that no fouls, no obvious timing errors, no request for a coaching conference, coach-referee conference, and no other irregularities. We are going to hold the ball up over our head to signify that the period is over. I'm not going to lie to you, Coach. I do this in the fourth quarter, and that's it. Everything else, the sirens are going over. Yeah, not doing it for each quarter, not doing it at halftime. And a lot of times I'm not even doing it at the end of...
I've only seen it at halftime and at the end of a game. I've never seen it at the end of the second or the third.
No. And there's times at the end of the game when we know that it's over and like they're not going to snap play, and both teams are leaving on their own accord to their sidelines to get ready for the handshake line. I'll toss the ball to the center and say, "Here you go, kid." And everybody knows the game's over. So, I mean, this is just a signal for me to hold the ball up to let the crowd know, to let the press box know. To me, it's an antiquated signal. We have the O to O's, but it's in there. So it's signal 14 in our rule book.
You know, the fans now are a little more sophisticated. You're right, it's antiquated. It used to be back in the day you had to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now with the PA systems and the O to O's, the people going up top, we're good. All right, so stopping and starting the clock, 3-4. Starting the clock for a period, 12 minutes on the clock. Your free kick, it's when the kick is touched other than first touching by K, which means that when it's touched by R in essence. And then everything else when the ball is legally snapped. So if it's start of the second quarter, once the ball snapped, then when the clock is going to be going there. We're not going to be coming into the quarter with a running clock. We have had it with the lopsided scores and different things like that. You know, clock's going to go. Typically, when we blow the ready for play at that point in time, we're going to start rolling the clock. And again, 99% of the times, all parties involved are like, thank you. So the the status of the clock now. This one we do need to pay attention to. So running, the clock is running. It's counting down. It's not counting up, but it's a running clock. The clock is stopped, meaning that it's going to start on the snap. It is stopped, meaning that it's going to start on the ready for play signal. Again, not often, but that's going to be sometimes if it's an official timeout or something like that. And it started when touched on the next free kick. So we are always communicating this with each other. I'm always communicating it to my referee when I see what's going on the sideline and as the umpire retrieving the ball, because he's watching the quarterback, so he doesn't see if the ball was inbounds or out of bounds, and he's the one that's got to signal it up to the press box. So I'm looking to the sideline. I see it. I'm giving him, hey, we're inbounds, keep winding it. Or, hey, we're out of bounds, kill it. And again, we're on the O-to-O talking with each other.
Well, the thing, when I read, go back.
Oh, sorry.
The first one, free kick, when kick is touched other than first touching by K. I wasn't aware of that when I read it earlier today. So if I kick an onside kick and one of my kids is run downfield trying to recover it and it touches him and then goes on down the field, the clock doesn't start?
Technically, no.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Technically, no.
I bet you a lot of people didn't know that. When I read that earlier, I went like,
Coach, I bet you there's a lot of
first touching.
I'll bet you there are a lot of clock operators that didn't know that. So
yes, that's what I was going to say, but I'm not the guy. I'm not the official.
Yeah.
So,
no, you're not wrong in that. And again, it should be on our signal, with the wings on the onside. I mean, if it's an onside where it's bouncing around, you should see a quick wind and then a quick kill, because we want some time to come off that. If I catch it, if I'm R and I get that bouncing ball and I catch it and I go straight down to the ground, we should have 1 second come off the clock. But if I don't touch the ball and K jumps on it, well, K's got a first down, because if it went to 10 yards, then we're good to go there. We're good.
What if K touches it? And like I reach out, my kid reaches out, try to recover it. It bounces off him and then touches R. And R didn't try to touch it, but it touched R.
Where was the ball? Did it go to 10 yards?
It was across the 10-yard neutral zone.
So we're gonna run it then.
Okay. So you can run downfield, try to get it, and it bounces off R. The clock's going to wind.
Yes.
Okay.
Today's episode has been packed with a lot of important information, and I want to be respectful of your time while also making sure we're covering Rule 3 the right way, clearly, thoroughly, and in a way that actually helps you on the field. So rather than rushing through the rest of the material, I'm going to cut this episode a little bit shorter than planned. There's still some key pieces of Rule 3 that deserve our full attention, and I don't want to shortchange those just to fit everything into one episode. The good news is this: we're going to pick up exactly where we left off in episode 2 next week. No skipping ahead, no gaps. We'll continue building on what we started today so you can stay sharp, confident, and consistent with your rule knowledge. If you've been following along, now's a great time to go back, review your notes, think through some game situations, and really lock in what we covered today. That's how you turn information into application. I appreciate you tuning in, as always, and being part of the Whistle Talk community. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss episode 2 of Rule 3, because we're going to dive right back in and keep building. Until then, stay sharp, stay confident, and I'll see you next week.